Okay, so now that we've got the part constrained here, let's do a little bit of editing on how you're actually drawing the thing. Maybe that'll make a little bit more sense on how to do this. So I'm going to open up this part here and go through a couple of different things here. Let's measure this. What's that? 15, 8, 140. Okay. So you have all these things, kind of dialed in. An easier way to do this is, I'm going to draw a 3-point here. Oh, that's the one I want. It's this one. There to there to there at 8. Another one from here to here at 8. There to there at 8. Okay, so the reason we're doing this is that way, anytime you change all this other stuff, it'll be a little bit easier. So on this one, you're coming one way, let's go both ways. So that way the part will be symmetric along the center line. There. Now, instead of extruding all these guys, I'm going to create this to be visible. Then we're going to make another extrusion from the drawing here at 140. Again, both ways. So that way we're sharing the sketch. We know that this will all stay the same. It's fully constrained. I hope so. One dimension needed. Let's check degrees of freedom. This line. Okay. Just a general housekeeping rule. Let's make this just in line with there for fun. I don't think we need to. But anyway, so if we drag our holes down to here, it'll say these are all bad, because those are our outside ones. Just delete those. And okay. Drop down here, accept. And our sketch reference. Let's redefine that to this face. And there's our holes. I have to redefine all this stuff. So project the geometry of the face. There. This hole to there. And to right there. It's right there. And right there. 3 dimensions needed. 12 degrees. Oh, okay. So there. So I'm not sure where this is off of. That's just going to be in the middle, so make these two the same. It'll split the difference if you want that to be locked in, which you do. So I think that's what you're looking for, to have those lines the same distance off. Finish our sketch, the holes come back in, fully centered. Turn off the visibility of that, and where's this hole? Okay, over here. So I believe this one we don't need. This one we don't need. Sketch 32, let's redefine that to this face. And then figure out where it's actually at. Okay. So now we have it a little bit more simplified. You have one extrusion for the middle, one extrusion for the outside edges, and then your two holes and your two sketches, all fully defined in a simple package here. Now the one thing I was going to say, your home ground point is to there. I would probably change that real quick to be, let's see, get our origin back on, and it probably won't let like this, but that did. Okay. So now you have that point. It's a little bit more square, where that one's not. Or you could even have it, this is probably what I would actually do, to there and to there. So that way the outside edge, which is a squared point, so that way you know that that's the actual edge, and everything else is done, fully constrained. So let me come back to here, refresh this. It's not going to like any of this stuff. Delete that. Okay, so it's still grounded. Okay, so no more constraints, ground and root. So it drops it off into the origin. Now you can see that that's the actual home point right there. So then we come up, now we have this part. So one of two things we can do. We can either say, okay, this one's going to be itself, and then we're just going to draw this one and hope they're the same. Well, let's open up this part. An easier way, if you want to have this one be found by the other one. Here we are. Alright, so we're going to drive that other part, bring it in as a work body surface. Solids, if we wanted to, we could bring in our parameters that we liked, and we'll just do that for fun. Show you kind of how that works, and some of these reference ones, sure. You don't always have to do that, or name them, and then you can easily choose them. I'll show you where to do that too. So now, if we come over here, these are all parameters that we brought in. So these are all our reference ones. So if we wanted to, we could say, oh, I want that 43 degrees. It's already named it there. Or, where's the... Okay. So here it is. So our origin's not the same. We can actually look at our first part here. Let's make sure that this is above there. So that way, drag this up. Do the sketch. Now we have this as a reference. So I'm going to delete this. There's some funky dimensions in here. You know what we're going to do? Okay, so I created a block real quick with this thing, and I'll show you why. Project this geometry of this outside edge here. So it looks like I actually grabbed the wrong part. You can see in the tree there it says Ben parentheses 2. So I guess I downloaded it a couple times, and when I open up the assembly, it grabs the Ben part. But I was working on Ben regular, and this is Ben 2 that I derived. So I have to go back through and actually delete out Ben 2 and grab Ben regular. So make sure that you have your parts done right. So you're not grabbing the wrong one. Okay, so now we can make our little homes here. Okay, so now on this guy, we're going to go both ways, so back and forth. Make this visible. Extrude our outside edges. Now we could call it 140, or we could say between this plane and this one. Okay, so now we have our part here relative to there. If we wanted to put some holes, let's do a sketch on, well, let's see, visibility, sketch this face, turn the visibility back on, project the geometry of our holes here, and 3D model, holes. And you can do the whole command like this, or you could simply just extrude these because they are referencing the other ones. Face. And then same thing over here. I think you had holes over here, sketch here. Geometry. And let's make some points. So at this point, now we have our two parts, and you're like, all right, well, I want to bring them together. You could, go up here and do our constraints and then put there to there. Or, now that we have a derived part, since this part has a dependency with this part, or the other way around, so ground and root jumps right into place. Now, the reason for that is that this part has this solid. So if we turn on the visibility and come to the right here, we know that this part will have to change with this part. So if we ground it, it has the same origin, which is down here, referenced off of this part onto here. So if we come into our main part and we say hypothetically, let's go into here and say, oh, I need to make this 5,000. Alright, well, that extends, finish our sketch, our part becomes bigger. Come into here, oh no, everything's messed up. Well, if we refresh it, it goes back into place. Reason is, this part is using this one as a derived part. So if we go back in here, turn this off, come back in. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense as how to use the drive part to get things linked up. So that way, here, if we, let's close this one out, come back into here, our sketch. Alright, so if we wanted to make this into 50, just kidding. Oh, this one, 700. So you notice that now the holes aren't in the same spot. We return and they updated. So now the holes are still sticking together.